Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Strategic Edge podcast, where we dive deep into the minds of industry leaders who are redefining what it means to grow strategically and with agility and authenticity. Today, I am joined here by Toni Carrozzo, the president and owner of the TMC Group, a woman-owned executive search firm specializing in the experiential marketing and digital sectors. In less than a year from launch, I've seen that Tony has built and placed nearly 30 executives across multiple industries, which is an incredible feat for a boutique operation competing with much larger players out there. With over a decade in the recruiting experience, she's been able to build her brand around one simple philosophy, which is we don't post, we search. So in this episode, we're unpacking how Tony has scaled her relationship-driven business in a tech-dominated world, and how she's helping clients hire smarter and faster, and how she's thinking about how the role of AI will be in the future of executive search. So if you want to learn from a high-touch boutique recruiter like her, welcome. So Tony, welcome to the Strategic Edge podcast. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Jean. It's been wonderful.
That's great because I saw you're celebrating the TMC Group's early milestones, like acquiring your 30 placements in the first 7 months, which is quite incredible. So where are you calling from today?
I'm on Long Island, New York.
That's great because I used to live in New Jersey, so we weren't so far off.
There you go. Raised my family in Jersey, but follow the grandchildren to New York. So
Yeah, that's perfect. So the first question that I wanted to ask you is, since you launched the TMC Group in 2022, and within 7 months you've been running a full scale searches across marketing, media, and experiential agencies. What sparked the decision to go out on your own, and what gap in the market were you determined to fill?
well, I have always been in the marketing advertising space at multiple levels, from administrating to marketing management to producing to event management. So I've always been in
Hmm.
this space throughout my
Hmm.
career. And then I was ready for a change, and I had an
Hmm.
opportunity to learn recruiting
Yeah.
from Erica Weinstein and E-Team. And she
Hmm.
took me under her wing and taught me everything, and I'm forever grateful. And then she decided to retire and go on to greener
Hmm.
pastures in her own right.
Hmm.
And the president of E-Team decided she was going out on her own. I then
Hmm.
partnered with her,
Yeah.
and then it was just an epiphany on my father's anniversary in heaven, where I got a
Hmm.
ton of potential opportunities within an hour. And I said, you know what, maybe this is something I should be doing on my own. And I sat my family
Hmm.
down, and which are my children, and I said,
Yeah.
guys, I have an opportunity to do something, but I know I'm going to need some help. And they
Hmm.
all stood behind me, and that's how the TMC was born.
That's great because family support goes a long way, especially in this entrepreneurship journey. It's not quite easy. So when you look
Absolutely.
so when you look back, like what do you think drove that early traction and trust from clients? Was it your collaboration with the E-Team, working with Erica Weinstein, or was it because of the years' experience that you had under your belt?
That's a great question. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I already came to the table with the ability to build relationships. I think
Hmm.
my authenticity and my ability to listen and
Yeah.
provide clients with what they want, not what I want them to have.
Yeah.
And I think that is what endeared me to them.
Hmm.
Having done this for over 10 years, it blows my mind how many people
Hmm.
remember talking to me 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
they remember me and they come back.
Yeah.
Is mind blowing. And I think it's just that being authentic, being my true self, and just
Hmm.
listening and
Hmm.
trying to be a resource and a problem solver for my clients.
And I think your tagline tries to encapsulate that, like, we don't post, we search, which is your firm's philosophy. So walk us through, like, what looks like operationally and why it produces the outcomes that it has produced for you this last 7 months.
Well, what we do is we really partner with our clients. We just don't
Mm-hmm,
take a job description and then post it and then wait for passive or people to approach us. What we do is I sit down
mm-hmm,
with leaders and I say, let's have an onboard and let's go over who are you, what's important to you, what's your
mm-hmm,
backstory, what don't you like, what do you like. And so
mm-hmm,
when we get to hone in on exactly what they're looking for, then we
mm-hmm.
have the ability to go through and actually search for that person. And we
Yeah.
aren't representing the TMC group as much as we're an extension of our clients. So we're all
Mm-hmm,
about that white glove to making sure that we're representing their brand, that the communication is strong on both sides with the candidates because we're representing them as well as our client. And I
mm-hmm.
think it's that is allowing us to find those bullseyes. Because the truth of the matter is, I only usually present 2 or 3
Yeah.
people. I don't present
Mm-hmm,
hundreds of resumes. And
yeah.
I have an 87% hire of the first two, 95% of the first three. Very rarely do I have
Yeah.
to do more than three.
Mm-hmm,
But I think it's all that work that we do ahead of time that allows us to really have a true understanding of what the want and need is of the client. And
mm-hmm,
then to be able to also do the same on the candidate side to make sure that it's not only a um, creative or skill based placement,
mm-hmm.
but it's also a culture based placement
Yeah.
because there's 2 parts to every employment.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. So I'm just wondering, like, are you able to share an example of a placement where your hands-on approach uncovered a candidate that a traditional posting would have missed? Like, what's a typical example of that?
Gosh, it's hard because I've never been a poster per se.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
but I have connected with so many people and had so many conversations that just
mm-hmm.
15 minutes ago, I had a phone call where somebody said, "Hey, I need a new business developer. They need to have this,
Yeah.
this, this, this." I already know them as a client, so I know what culture they need. And I said, "All
Mm-hmm,
right, here." And I literally just sent her, "You have to meet these 2 people." And she's
yeah.
like, "I'm on it." So because I'm connected to over 30,000 people on LinkedIn alone.
Yeah, which
Um,
is quite impressive.
and then I keep a database. I have everyone's resume. I know what their salaries are. I can go in and put in all the
Mm,
criteria, and I usually have a clue. People stick
yeah,
in my head. It's a fun place up here.
yeah. But that's why I'm trying to pick your brain out because I love having conversation with different leaders about recruiting, especially now with AI coming to the space. Like, I'm trying to understand how you are seeing the shift with AI being integrated into also this staffing and recruitment space. So, which also leads me to my next questions. Are are clients for you becoming more demanding on the speed to hire, and how do you manage that without compromising your quality?
AI in my world has been
Mm-hmm,
helpful. I'm
mm-hmm,
currently working on 15 different roles,
mm-hmm,
and sometimes when I'm not sure if somebody has the tactical skills to achieve, I might run their
mm-hmm,
resume against the job description through AI and ask it to
mm-hmm.
identify gaps. And then
Yeah.
that just helps me. It speeds up my process a little bit, but it helps me better understand. So if I have a conversation with
Mm-hmm,
somebody, I can then say, "Tell me about this gap and that gap, and how can we fill that?"
mm-hmm.
Because not everybody knows how to write a resume. Most
True.
people don't know how to write a resume. And how we write resumes today,
Mm-hmm,
post COVID versus pre COVID, are 2 totally different things.
mm-hmm,
So I think it's important to have conversations. My conversations with people are 15 to 20 minutes max. So I
Yeah.
try to have conversations and from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. because I work all time zones in the United States. And I
Mm-hmm.
try to have these conversations with people and I help them. I'm about trying to help people find a happy forever job. And that's what
Yeah.
allows me to be able to make sure that I have the right people sitting in the right seats, doing the job they want to
Mm-hmm.
do, not the job they can do. Because if you get
Mm-hmm.
somebody who wants to do the job and then you have a client who has a need for that want, that's the perfect
Yeah.
marriage. And
Very
those are the
true.
people that stick.
So for like those really tough searches that clients want, like something very senior level, for example, do you also use AI in your end-to-end process for vetting the perfect fit for a client?
I don't know. AI helps me be clear on the thought, the want, and the need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but really, recruiting is person to person, human to human conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to learn more about talking to somebody by learning who they are, what's
Yeah.
important, by facial, by emotion, where their
Mm-hmm.
passions lie. And it's all through conversation. And I just don't know if you're going to get a true sense of a human through
Mm-hmm.
AI. And
Yeah.
when you're hiring a human, you need to be a human.
You need to have the human to human conversation is very important.
Correct.
So, basically, you've been in this recruiting space for more than a decade. Are there any major shifts that you've noticed lately, whether in client expectations, candidate behavior, or even the pace of hiring itself, especially now with the current economic government shutdown that's been happening in the United States recently? Have you seen any, what kind of major shifts are you expecting, especially with the whole economic downturn that's occurring?
Right. When COVID happened, the experiential event marketing industry was decimated. Everything that
Yeah.
was a live activation in sport and
Mm-hmm.
everything was just
Mm-hmm.
flatlined.
Yeah.
And it's been a slow process. There was a peak for a minute where there was a ton. People really
Mm-hmm.
jumped back in. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
been a lot of flatlining, slowing down the process because of economics, because of shutdowns, because of
Mm-hmm.
a president election year is always a difficult year for experiential and marketing as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, things are starting to pick up, in my opinion, in
Mm-hmm.
this space.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slow process, but the industry has changed post COVID in a very, very big way. So,
Mm-hmm.
how we are hiring, how we are interviewing, what we're
Yeah.
looking for, the specifics. People are being more specific about making sure that people are the right fit and they're doing what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just hiring to fill a seat, but they're hiring to make
Yeah.
sure that seat is filled with the right person, which is something I
Very
don't think
true.
always
Mm-hmm.
happens. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of times nepotism played a role in things or obligations played a role in things. I don't think those are a big part of the hiring process anymore.
Mm-hmm. So when you're running your firm, for example, have you seen incredible flexibility, like like maybe some bottlenecks that are appearing maybe as you're running your business because you are 7 months in. So are you experiencing some bottlenecks? Like where do you feel the biggest growing pains are right now? Is it through sourcing? Is it administration tasks? Is it coordination or is it something else in general?
I would say at first it was just bringing in the new business, identifying new business, right? And now
Mm-hmm.
AI has been huge and instrumental in helping me do some sourcing and making sure that I'm spending the time with the right people that are
Yeah.
better suited for roles. So that's been helping speed up the process. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the bottleneck for me is clients being very hesitant and very
Yeah.
cautious about hiring.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're taking a much longer time, a much deeper thought, a lot longer interviewing process before
Yeah.
making a decision.
True. Because also, like I said, especially now with the economic shutdown that's happening, um, maybe clients are trying to save on cash flow, and that's why they're maybe taking very long to interview, hire, and
Also,
everything. Mm-hmm.
in the past, in our industry, people
Mm-hmm.
brands would hire agencies for 3, 4, 5 years, and they'd have these very lengthy um,
Yeah.
retainers for
Yeah.
business. But post COVID, now
Mm-hmm.
no one's doing those 3, 4, 5 year. So every year or two, there's a turnover, and maybe a new
Yeah.
agency is going to come in with that brand. And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole waiting for contracts to be signed before they're going to bring on somebody to run that business. So
Yeah.
whether it's a production person or an account person or a creative person, so it's
Mm-hmm.
taking it's a process. It's an absolute process. So that's the bottleneck. In my opinion, the bottleneck is the client. The client wants to make
Mm-hmm.
right, smart choices and not waste any
Yeah.
money. There's no money to be wasted.
Yeah. So I'm guessing if you could just snap your fingers, that's one thing you'd want solved.
Well, a lot of the times I feel that this is the right person, but I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
send you 2 more people just so that you have an heir and a spare, just in case. But I have one girl
Yeah.
who's been interviewing for over a year and they have not made a decision.
Yeah.
That's a
Plus
long time.
also, yeah, it's a very, very long time. Sometimes it can even cause a headache or two, you know. So as you mentioned or you emphasized that the TMC group doesn't just fill roles, you place long-lasting hires the way you vet with 2, 3 people and then you give to the client. So how do you measure success beyond the initial placement?
Retention. There's 2 parts to that. It's how
Hmm.
long, because I guarantee every placement.
Yeah,
And so if depending on the seniority level, depends on the length of the guarantee. I
yeah.
don't ever want to do anything for free. So I don't want to replace. So there's a lot riding on me being able to make sure the right person is sitting in the right seat and that they stay
Hmm.
there. So
Hmm.
we have a very good retention.
Hmm.
Only one time did I replace somebody because it wasn't anything anybody did wrong. The guy was just poached at an unbelievable opportunity that even my client
Hmm.
was like, he has to take that job. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So can you
yeah.
replace him? And I did.
Hmm.
Other than that, excuse me, everybody stays.
Yeah.
They at least they stay their guarantee period. Today in this industry, people don't stay anywhere more than 4 to 5 years. Very rarely are people at the same job for a long period of time for a multitude of reasons.
Hmm.
The
So
other thing
this
is,
actually, hmm
yeah, the other thing is
sorry.
that when the client calls me and says, I'm growing and I need more people. And so
Hmm.
when I can do multiple placements, multiple jobs, then I
Yeah.
know I'm doing a good job because they know I bring good talent to them.
That's great because this actually leads to my follow-up question. So, if a client asked you to quantify that retention, performance, or even satisfaction, do you have the data today, or is that something you're building toward?
We have 100% with that, with the exception of that one person, we have 100% placement. We've not had to redo anybody.
Hmm.
So, and that was just last year.
Yeah,
Other than that, we do great, and a ton of the clients that I have are repeat clients. Um,
that's good. Yeah.
and then it's people who move around. I have a guy
Hmm.
right now who was with a company I placed many people for. He
Hmm.
he's now a candidate. So
Yeah.
I marketed him to leaders that I know, and he's been interviewing with those leaders. And he
Hmm.
is a C-suite
Yeah.
business uh, um,
Executive.
executive level, and so that's a big. When he comes to me and says, "Hey, help me find my next gig. This is what I want," and so that's validating as well.
That's awesome because right now, the way technology and AI has just been taking over, a lot of industries are trying to implement it. And we're also seeing a bit of an AI transformation in recruiting, like such as autonomous sourcing, screening, as well as even scheduling. So some firms are nervous about it, while others are embracing it. So I just want to understand, like, how are you implementing AI for your own business?
So as I said before, a lot of times when I have a resume and a job description, I'll put them through AI and I'll
Mm-hmm.
say, identify, is this person a really good fit? Or I could be working on three different producer roles, each having
Mm-hmm.
their own nuance. I'll
Yeah.
put in all three and I'll put in that resume and I'll say which one is he or she better for, and
Mm-hmm.
then what will they where are the gaps on each, and like
Yeah.
it'll tell me. I'm all for that. What I am not for in AI, and I get why it's there just needs to be a better way to do it. That's not, in
Yeah.
my opinion, being done right, is when
Mm-hmm.
people have to put their resume through an application tracking system.
Yeah.
Because very often when they put them through that and they put these parameters, if the word is
Mm-hmm.
book, but you put
Mm-hmm.
in books, you don't get the
Yeah.
credit for book
Yeah.
just because you added an S. Or there's
Yeah.
various ways. It's not seeing the various ways. So people who are really on top of it, who their resume really is 100% that job, are being dismissed. They're also being
Mm-hmm.
dismissed because there's typos. For
Yeah.
example, a classic typo is on a resume, people put bullets. A bullet is a
Yeah.
statement, it's not a complete sentence. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
put periods at the end of a bullet. That's considered a typo. These AI application tracking systems will do a percentage of typos and put it in a no pile.
Yeah.
But if every bullet has a period, that's a typo, and that person
Mm-hmm.
gets screwed. Nobody's telling you shouldn't be disqualified
Yeah.
because of your
A
resume.
typo. Yeah.
A
The
stupid period.
algorithm sometimes.
Yeah. So that's my biggest struggle with these
Mm-hmm.
application tracking systems and how AI has been evolving in, and businesses are using that. And I think that there's
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a little switch that some people are saying, I'm not getting the right people. And so they come
Yeah.
to me, and then like one client last week said, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been looking since May, and I need it like
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. I sent them two people within
Yeah.
5 minutes. And they're like, how did you know? And they are interviewing them this week.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to work on that since May. And that's because they're using those application tracking systems. So I say
Yeah.
bring
The
back phone
18.
call, bring back humanity, allow
Mm-hmm.
people to have conversations. I think that we'll find the better talent that way. My opinion.
Very true. Very true. Because which also leads me now to my follow-up question is, are you leveraging AI to help you scale your business without losing your personal touch? Like, what kind of system or capabilities would actually be valuable to you?
So when I talk to people, I use AI to record and give me notes so
Yeah.
that I can focus on the conversation and
Mm-hmm.
then go back and identify and highlight and review the things that I feel are more important. In the
Mm-hmm.
olden days, I used to write and scribble everything down, and I think I missed things. And now
Yeah.
I think I'm far more accurate and thorough, and I'm getting the information so that I can focus on the conversation. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's really important there. I think
Mm-hmm.
that I could take my notes, I could take the
Mm-hmm.
resume, and I could take the job description and put that into AI and say, help me write a candidate summary to present to a client with certain
Mm-hmm.
information. It writes it, then I just get to go through and edit it, add my own
Yeah.
flair, my own comments. And it's
Mm.
usually then that what used to take me 30 minutes now takes me 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
it allows me to do more, and be more for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's allowing me to present better quality people.
Yeah. True. So looking ahead, what does your vision for the TMC group look like in the next few years? Is it more team growth, new industries, more money, um, like expanded services?
I money's good. I'll take that. Um, I would love to be able to grow the business. I love the industry that I'm in. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's a tough industry. Um, I would love to expand more on the brand side and still stay on the agency side. I have a lot of my candidates and contacts are merging, so I'm hoping I'll get to grow that brand side. That would be the next side of marketing for me.
Hmm.
But I love my niche. I
Yeah.
that's at the end there are a ton of companies, a ton of jobs, and a ton of
Yeah.
people.
Very
And we just
true.
got to match the right people to the right job and let
Hmm.
everybody win.
And as we're coming to a close, what do you think about these larger firms that are leaning so much into tech and the smaller ones like yourself that are focused on your specific niche? Like what's your edge that keeps you competitive?
I think that first of all, I know I have dropped my prices
Yeah.
to a lot lower. I'm not in an office anymore.
Hmm.
Everybody works from home. So that
Yeah.
expense or overhead has
Hmm.
allowed me to be more cost effective. I
Yeah.
also find that it's the big guys, they're going to be the big guys. They're going to do it their way, and
Hmm.
I don't mess with them. It's the little
Yeah.
guy who are wearing multiple hats, and then to
Hmm.
try and add recruiting onto doing their business and running their business, that's when it's better to bring in the expert
Yeah.
and bring in somebody who has the finger on the pulse, understands each and every role because she's done it or they've done it. Because I have people
Hmm.
on my team who have also been in this industry as long as I have. And
Yeah.
so, and we have the connections, we have the experience. So we've been there, we've done that. And I think that that's what's important is to, you're not going to hire a plumber to do root canal.
Very true. That's
So
absurd.
hire an experiential marketing recruiter to fill
Hmm.
those nuggets within your organization. It's
Hmm.
you'll have more success, less of a learning curve, and you're not going to have your time wasted because that person, whether it's me or anybody else in this net, there aren't a lot of me's, but anybody else that does this space,
Yeah.
you want to be able to make sure that you have people who are doing the job or
Hmm.
know the job to fill the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. And just to say this, Tony, this has been such a refreshing conversation. What I love most is how intentional you are and how authentic you are, which I believe our audience will feel feel that and be able to connect with you more. You've proven that even in a tech-driven market nowadays, that authenticity, connection, and human deep understanding of your clients as well as what you provide will always win. So for anyone listening, if you want to check out Tony's website, I'll link it below, as well as her LinkedIn as well below. Her content is worth following. You'll learn more than you could have learned in this 30 minutes chat. So thank you so much, Tony, for joining. And this is the Strategic Edge. I'm your host, Jean Gadoni. See you next time, guys.